Yo, what's good, everybody? Yo,
What
salute
up?
to the tribe, man. Salute to everybody in the building. We got my man Cooks 24 in the building. We waiting on Stu Dog and DJ Tiger right now. Stu Dog tried to log in. He having some technical difficulties, and DJ Tiger had to reboot his computer. But we wanted to make sure we brought the show to you at 6:30. So here we are, Cooks and Reno Noir. As
Much
always,
love.
Cooks, how you been, bro?
Shoot, you know me. I've been good, man. How you been doing, man?
Just cooling, man. Doing my hip hop and comics thing,
Already,
reading.
you know it.
Yeah, man. And we got a few subjects we're gonna talk about today. We definitely gonna touch on Loki, the new show, which was crazy.
Yeah.
Changed a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? I think that show really changes a lot. It really gives Marvel the license to retcon anything they want, which I think is a good thing. Since we still got to figure out how the mutants gonna come in and where they've been this whole time. So hopefully this can help with that as well.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of questions to be answered. So
Definitely.
yeah, man. You watched it, right? You saw Loki, right?
Yes, I watched it. I finally got to go ahead and watch it, man. I was for me, for me, I was impressed. You know what I mean? The action was nonstop. The questions were nonstop. The Easter eggs were nonstop. You know what I mean? Um,
Definitely.
just from the start, it was already I was already drawn into it.
Definitely. Yeah, it was dope. And Stu, you in the building?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
What's
can
up,
hear you.
Stu?
What's good?
What's up,
Yeah,
Stu?
I don't know why. What's going on? Cooks my camera. I'm trying to get this.
Uh-oh.
He
Lost.
coming. We getting back.
Yeah,
What's
he
up,
trying to work.
Clayface and Lito's Way? I see y'all in the chat.
Yeah, man. Lito's Way, salute. Clayface in the building as always. Stu is having tech issues. Work it out, brother. Work it out. We got you. We gonna be here. We're gonna be here when you get it right. And yeah, man. So also we there you go. Stu, check. Mic check.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
get the mic to work, but I can't get the mic and camera to work at the same time. I don't know what's going on. I'm still shooting through this.
Lost him again. Well, he'll figure it out. Talk about Oklahoma. yeah. We're gonna talk about Loki, man. Definitely Asgard, Oklahoma. Clayface is from Oklahoma, so that's why he said. And my man, shout out to my man Kareem, shooter on deck, who's also there in the OK.
You know what I'm saying?
Word up.
Metro Cuz.
Metro customer in the building. Salute. So we're gonna talk about that. I'm waiting on everybody to come in, but also DJ Tiger put us on to a podcast. I get not a podcast. It's it was a Zoom meeting, and I'd like to wait for Tiger to get in to really go into depth on how, what that was all about, what started it, how he got the invite and all that good stuff. Speech from Arrested Development was one of the speakers among many other black leaders and doctors and Congress people and all kinds of people were in there. But he's created a documentary by the name of the Nigga Factory, NIGGA Factory, and basically it talks about hip hop and how it's really bigger than hip hop. It's really talking about a deep subject about the systematic racism, obviously we want to say African, but I'm not saying that word. I hope nobody took offense to that. That's the title of the documentary. Okay. I don't use that word in speech. I feel silly saying the N-word documentary because that's not the name of the documentary. But yeah, just so everybody, clarify that. That's just the name of the documentary. But yeah, that's a word that, everybody has different opinions on it. everyone has different opinions on who should be able to say it and all of those things. And you know, in my opinion, like where I was raised, where I grew up at, the friends I kicked it with, you know, the people that I grew up with, my circle of friends, we use that word. I was the only non-black in the group, but they used that word to me. You know, they would have thought it was strange if I didn't use it, because it's just we grew up saying since, you know, little kids. But anytime I come around any black people that are not from my original clique of friends, you know, that didn't grow up with me, I'm very careful to not use that word. You know, it's because everybody, you know, it's offensive when white people say that, especially, you know, when it's not around people who know them, you know what I mean, or know how they mean it and stuff like that. So
Right.
yeah, you know, like anytime I come around, you know, new groups of friends or new groups of people, you know, that's just something I just don't do. So that's just my, you know, my take on it. I just don't use it. If you white and you want to use it, you know, that use it at your own risk, depending on who you're around. But you know, nah. I was just saying the title of the documentary. So but yeah, we're gonna talk about that documentary because I think that it definitely, Cooks, you can tell me what I think it definitely has a lot to do with hip hop right now.
Ultimately, and like it has everything to do with hip hop. It's in my opinion, it's stuff that certain ones of us in the population know and have been preaching and saying, and then you got those eras and generations that look at us like we're crazy. You know what I'm saying? Uh, um, I can honestly say that the generation, one or two generations before us, they always kept us hip to it. It was our job to hold on to the message that they were sending to us, and it takes somebody like Speech, you know what I mean, to push it on out there, and then lock ears with somebody like DJ Tiger to spread the word with us.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, um, but it's like when my daughter, she's 20, and I can look at her and tell that the type of music that she listens to has an effect on her by the way she dressed, by the way she
Right.
talk, by the way she talk to me. And I have to let her know, like I have to kind of like snap my finger and let her know, like, hey, look, I ain't none of your friend. I ain't none of your, I ain't none of that. Like my mom
Right.
used to tell me when I
Right.
got out of line. You know what I mean?
Not we not
So
peers. Right.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? And one of my little homies, you know what I'm saying, he number 18, co-worker at work, the type of music he listened to, and it's like he's saying that these little dudes is the best. These little dudes is the best when they ain't been through nothing. They ain't been through nothing. Like
Right.
you ain't been the same stories that y'all talk about, whether you've been through it or not, it's been passed down generation after generation. You ain't telling nobody nothing new.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like how can the same book be sold every year and sell more? You feel me?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, I kind of didn't want to get into this yet, because I wanted to definitely touch on Loki, talk about Loki first, and waiting on everybody to pop in here. And I definitely want to wait for Tiger to come in because he's the one that put me onto this. And
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, he definitely has a unique perspective as a DJ, you know, playing the music, you know what I'm saying? So we kind of want to wait till they come in if they get in here. But Loki, man, that's what everybody's talking about. That right there is a crazy man. Loki just like
Where you want
changed
to
the
start at?
game.
Where
Man,
you
that's
want to
just
start at?
where to start. You know what I mean? Like
Start from the beginning.
it was funny in the beginning when he well, first we saw that kind of the pre scene where they showed like the what we didn't see during the original, you know, Infinity War or the original Avengers movie, like the stuff
Mm-hmm.
where he was, you know, that was
Just
cool.
his, just his, yeah, just his vision.
Right, his point of view, exactly. So that was dope, man. And then first thing he does when he zapped out of that, you know, out of the handcuffs, and he ended up in that kind of desert world. He sees like four little, you know, people just standing there. He hops up on top of that rock and starts proclaiming his godhood. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
classic Loki, right off. And then the Minutemen pop out,
Out of nowhere. That was
time
tripping
cop,
to me.
whatever. Right, right. They're in the comics though. Like this is all I didn't know at first. Be
I
honest
didn't.
with
I
you.
didn't either. I didn't either.
I didn't know that any of the time variants and all of that whole thing that the Loki episode's about. I didn't know that was really in the comics. I thought okay, here we go. The MCU is creating their license to retcon. You know what I'm saying? Like this whole time thing means that nothing means anything because everything is preordained, everything's pre-written. So they can always go back and say, well, that was, this is happening because this variant veered off of the timeline, you know what I mean? And create like the mutants. Like how are we gonna explain why the mutants haven't been in the MCU yet and how they're here now, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just a second. So yeah, I think that's dope, man. But it was funny, man. The movie was great. Or the show was great. The first episode, rather. Owen Wilson killed it.
Oh, I got
Really?
a homage for you. You know when he got the cube and then he went into when he vanished and then he ended up in the desert.
Right.
I seen where like the way he was laying in the desert was paying homage to Iron Man 1 when he was laying out and he was broken all up.
Yeah. That's
I
the
had
Easter egg right there.
yeah, yeah, I
I
caught that.
didn't
I wanted
catch
to throw
that.
that in.
Definitely. Yeah, I didn't catch that at all. That's what's up. Yeah, man. I love the MCU doing their Easter egg thing, man. That's cool. It kind of gives you like like makes you feel good about having watched all the other 20 movies. You know what I mean? DJ Tiger, what's good, brother?
What up? What's good, fellas?
What's up, my brother? How
Chilling,
you
chilling,
What's
doing?
man.
good? Chilling,
DJ.
y'all. How y'all doing?
All right. We just
Thank
started to talk about
obeying.
Loki. You ain't missed much. We just
Loki?
started to
Oh,
talk
okay.
about Loki. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
man. It was dope, man. Yeah. So the time, yeah, man, like the whole thing, I think. What do y'all think? Do y'all think it sets up their sort of license to retcon, their ability to rewrite anything or say anything?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's like the clash of the timelines. And yeah, they can basically, they had the damn Infinity Stones in the drawer like they were paperweights. You know what I
Right.
mean? It was like come on, we got this. These ain't nothing compared to what, it's like
What?
really what's really
What's really?
popping.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think I heard a theory that this might lead to some type of secret wars thing, because they said something about the secret wars, how it was different
Yep.
timelines fighting each other. Well, the last
Mhm.
secret wars that they did.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it was
definitely,
like
definitely.
different clues, right? Something like that.
Yeah, yeah, man. Because like Doctor Strange was supposed to come first. It was supposed to be the Doctor Strange multiverse movie, and then Loki was going to come out, but it got switched. So I think that war that they're talking about like is going to be in Doctor Strange, and I think we're supposed to had already seen it to kind of know what.
Yeah,
But
because they switched stuff around because of the COVID, right?
Mhm. Right. But it's it's definitely, I think it's definitely leading to Secret Wars, man. I can't wait. I can't wait
Yeah.
for Secret Wars. That's the logical next place to go.
Yeah. And then, like I said, to bring in, you could bring in other things as far as maybe
Mutants.
X-Men or something. Yeah.
Right, definitely. And
I think
yeah, the Infinity Stones had no power there. You saw they were just like paperweights in the drawer.
Yeah.
Because outside of their own, even in the multiverse, like outside of their own universe, they have no power. Like if you take the Infinity Stones and go to another universe, they're powerless.
Yeah.
Only the stones from that universe work in that universe.
Yeah.
So once they leave the timeline, but also I was thinking the variant that had the stones when they got there, say it was, whoever had the stones, right? Thanos, right? Say, for instance, Thanos comes to the time place and he's got the stones. He's now a variant of the original timeline. So the real stones and the real Thanos are still happening in the proper timeline. They just yanked him out. Right? So these stones become nothing, just pieces of glass. Because I think Loki, him watching the sort of footage of him getting killed by Thanos, shows that he's not that Loki anymore. That Loki still continued on his life and got killed. Now he's this variant Loki that they would normally they just erase. But Owen Wilson wants to use him as a sort of Hannibal Lecter, like help them catch the
other Loki, which they said is Lady Loki, right, from the comics.
Yeah,
because of the hood.
Yep.
That they were wearing. It was like a green hood or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed that storyline where there was a Lady Loki.
Yeah, I think it's Loki doing some shape shifting, becoming the female Loki. I don't think it's like a different character. I think it is Loki, but he's just as Lady Loki.
And that's why Marvel was like Loki's is gender fluid, because then all of a sudden they say that right before this, and then that's supposed to be Lady Loki. That's why, because a man or a woman. That's why they did that. They were strategic in that. We were thinking, it's the SJW shit, but and it could be that, but it was also them using that
from the comics to
to incorporate it in what's going on now, because we weren't saying that back then. It was just a Lady Loki. It was a different Loki from a different timeline. Now they can say that because of all the shit that's going on now.
Transgender.
Yeah. So it was like a smart business move on their part to do
that.
Even though it's all this, I'm not male or female, I'm they and them, all that crazy shit. But
that's heavy in media right now. So they definitely were smart for doing it.
What'd y'all think about the episode though? Like being the first episode.
I thought it was great, man. I thought it was dope because like
me too.
They answered all the questions, you know what I mean? Like that we would have like, well, wait a minute, why does who is these timekeepers and why do they determine everything? Loki was asking all those questions for us because that's what we as the audience would be saying, you know what I'm saying? So they did a good job like setting it up, made it kind of funny, made it kind of interesting. I can't wait to see the rest of it. I think it was a dope first.
Yeah.
Cooks, what about you?
Oh, I really enjoyed the cinematics part of it. You know what I mean? How it wasn't dull, it wasn't boring, it wasn't really no like little quiet parts, and wasn't no little quiet parts. It was just on and on and on and on and on and on and on, all the way to the end. Then right when it got to the end, it's like who is then it's like boom, and they don't even give you no preview of what's gonna be next. That's the type of stuff I like. That's the type of stuff y'all be talking about. Y'all want it. I'm glad we got it.
Yep. Yeah. Like you said, it was well like directed, and him as an actor, man, he's dope as Loki. Like he just fits his mannerisms, the way he, how he's like, yo, I'm Loki, I'm, son of ass. You know what I mean? Like, it's like he's Loki.
Definitely.
It's like his method, like how what's the name played the Joker,
right?
Like he got so into that character, it was like he really felt like he was the Joker. I feel the same way about Tom Hiddleston being Loki. Yeah, he's dope.
And Owen Wilson too, man, he killed it. Like
I ain't gonna lie, man, I was like him, like because he's just I don't know, he's in certain movies. I'm like, I don't know why. Maybe it's his face. I don't know. But him being that character in this, it kind of works.
See, I'm already a big fan. Like, I'm a big fan of Owen Wilson. Like,
already. Okay.
This style of comedy to me is like, it's so funny, man. Cause like, I don't know, just the way he's like serious with it, but you could tell, I don't know, man. I think the dude is a genius comedy wise. But yeah, he definitely, he killed the role. He played that character just right. And it was dope how he, talked Loki through it. You know what I'm saying? Like talking about his deeds and everything, trying to make him feel, or see that he, if he's evil or not, because Loki's not really a bad dude. Like he does some messed up stuff, but we've seen him like side by side with Thor. You know what I mean? Like
that's why he was asking him, like, why are you doing what you're doing? Like, so you really like killing people? And then and he was like, no. He's like, I think I have to do it. Like, he's like that, for the greater good type, kind of like almost a minuscule of what Thanos how he is, you know.
Let me ask y'all something. What y'all think the most what y'all think the biggest statement part of the show was? Was it that part when he finally told what he was really about, or do you think it was that part when he found the stones and realized that don't nothing work here? Like I gotta do this. Like, and you know what I mean? Or like the part where he seen himself die. Like which part do y'all think, in y'all's opinion, each separately,
To
kind of
me, I
gave the
think
biggest statement?
I don't think it was all of those, even though those were like ill in the series. I think with them, because he's gonna be part of this multiverse. Like, I didn't think about him being attached to this multiverse, but I think he's gonna be an integral part in this when this is done, and we get Doctor Strange. Because even though WandaVision, they saying Doctor Strange is after that because she's supposed to be in it. But I think Loki is gonna be wrapped in that too. I just think it's gonna be after these next movies and the next phase go down with Eternals, Doctor Strange, especially Spider-Man. They already confirmed characters from the other movies. Like, they're gonna start opening this up to multiverse, and I think they're gonna start shocking us, bro.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have some old shit moments. I'm telling you, like, especially some end credit scenes, post credit scenes.
Definitely. Yeah, man, I think so. And I think like you said, a lot of those are all deep. Like, those were all big moments. The Infinity Stones, like them kind of saying, like, that's kind of Marvel saying, the Infinity Stones they're not the big deal.
Nothing here. Yeah. Compared to what's coming next.
The Time Force or whatever, you know what I mean? Because they want, they gotta bring this new big bad in, Kang the Conqueror. He's gotta be the important thing, the most, dangerous thing. And Kang is a time traveler.
Yep.
That's what Kang is all about. So yeah, it's like saying, Thanos is no more, the stones, like that's in the past. Now we dealing with something that's even way more big and powerful than that. Something that encompasses all the multiverses.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
This is the way I like the way they set up, man. They're always 100 steps ahead. It's like they plan what's gonna happen, say phase 5, and then they fill it up starting from now up until then with all the clues, you know what I mean? And even the girl that was the judge that was sentenced Loki, she's attached to Kang in the comics I read.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was in a different timeline. She was his lover.
Oh,
that character. I didn't know that until I read it. Like, I didn't know who she was. Then I saw it on comicbook.com. It's like, oh shoot, they know what they doing, bro.
Yeah, man.
That's subtle stuff,
Yeah, I love that. I love the subtle, the Easter eggs, and yeah, like the Easter eggs are good because, well, that's like a foreshadowing, though.
Yeah,
by putting her in, that's like a foreshadowing. Yeah, it's dope, man. Because Kang is a dope character, and I can't wait till he come in. But me, I'm still looking for that. How they gonna bring the mutants in?
Yeah. Oh, that's
how we. Yeah, that's our thing right there for sure. And I think this is another candidate. There's been a few, but I think this is another candidate. You know what I mean? Somehow, with the timelines, the variant, some different timeline or something like that, they can use. It's all connected to the multiverse and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But my man Clayface is definitely going nuts talking about the Oklahoma scene at the very end of the show, that kind of not after credit, but kind of like that little end piece where Lady Loki is, there and all of that. On the sign, it says that they're in Oklahoma.
Okay.
That's significant because Asgard appears or sort of manifested in the comics in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So we probably gonna see that happening, man. Something is gonna be connected to that. But shout out to also the Kareem at Shooter on Deck is also in the OK, chilling, man. But yeah, Clayface from Oklahoma. So yeah,
we definitely salute.
or we're gonna see some Oklahoma Asgard.
So
Yeah, the 1858 oil boom, right?
So I gotta ask a question. Why? So since Loki grabbed the Infinity Stone,
Tesseract.
right? The Tesseract,
The
yeah,
Tesseract?
and
Right.
disappeared, right?
Mhm.
By him disappearing, created a different timeline. So if he disappeared, then Thor didn't take him to Asgard. Remember, he took him in shackles,
Right.
and then he was in prison in Thor
Right.
2.
Right.
So is they saying like that didn't happen now?
Nah, see, I think that all
That's
that
what I'm
still happened because it led up to him
Still dying.
dying and sending remember he sent the troops to kill his mom, which he meant to send them to go where Thor was at, but his mom ended up being there, she got killed. And so all that stuff still happened. So,
All right, so they gotta explain then when he disappeared, what
he left when he disappeared, he went to that other dimension, but he was taken by the timekeepers. So I think they somehow set the regular timeline the way it's supposed to be, and by taking him out of it, he's basically a variant. He's nothing. He doesn't really exist anymore in the real timeline. And so
that's still that timeline. They set that straight so it kept going the way it was supposed to go.
Right.
Okay.
That's what I figured. That's the way I looked at it.
Okay.
Stu, what's good, bro?
What's going on, man?
What up, Stu?
What up, Stu?
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we all.
Yeah, I'm having tech issues here. I still can't get the camera to work, but this is what I got right now.
That's what's up, man. We just talking about Loki, man.
Oh, Loki, I'm an expert on that subject.
Word, what'd you think, man?
Thought it was great, man. It was good. It's gonna open up Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Just saying it.
And it's gonna open up a few other things that are gonna happen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like the Eternals. The Eternals deals with a lot of things that they talked about in that first episode. You also have to understand quantum mechanics to even go with what to either figure it out. Because they basically there's in the whole episode they're saying that they based it on Einstein's theory of relativity, where anything that can happen will and do, whether it does or doesn't. But in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they're saying that there are these beings that says that there is one timeline, that is the timeline, even though there are multiple timelines. But this one timeline is
one
the
and true
timeline.
one.
Right, it's the true timeline, and any variance from that timeline can disrupt the whole thing and start another war, like a multiverse war, because there was a multiverse war at one point in the Marvel Universe.
So Secret Wars.
Secret Wars.
Right. So in order to keep that from happening again, they have to keep all time in check. So Loki is a variant. When he disappeared with the Tesseract from the Avengers Endgame, when he took the Tesseract and disappeared, that's where they caught him from, because he actually made trouble. But I think at the end of that first episode, I think that's Loki that's running around picking up the time what do you call those things, the time things that they were picking up that resets the timeline back to the original timeline. I think he escaped somehow, and that's him that's doing that. I could be wrong.
He's the one that's going around killing people,
right? I think he's killing the was it TVA?
They said that.
I think I think he's killing TVA people. I think he's the one that's killing them.
Nah, he said that. Owen Wilson said that. He said at the very end, he said the guy we're chasing is you. And then we see that after scene where they're in Oklahoma and the hooded figure in the fire. That's the lady Loki. That's the female version, or when Loki switches himself into a female or whatever he does. And hold on, let me get Stu. And so that's definitely Loki, but it's a different version of Loki.
Right. Yeah. We don't know what version. If for the audience out there and everybody that's been living under a rock, the best way we can explain is if you ever watched Quantum Leap.
Oh yeah.
Watch Quantum Leap.
Sam Beckett.
It's the same thing, right? So everybody in this chat has a quantum signature, and the line that you follow is your quantum flux. So there are different versions that strike out like a tree, like trees from a branch. They just flag out in the different areas. But depending on what you do, and you're, in that timeline, you can go one way or you can go another, or you can, but it all depends on the decisions that you make.
Yeah.
So that's what they're basically saying, that somewhere along the line, somebody did something to disrupt the timeline, and that's what's going to bring the multiverse of madness, which will probably give us Secret Wars. It's probably going to give us Secret Wars later on down the line.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Yeah. Yep. And Lito's Way asks if is that Loki, the other Loki, is he a variant as well?
Yes.
He's like the killer is the variant version of Loki, a shape-shifting Loki. But yeah, he's a variant. That's a variant also. He, whatever. Yeah, also.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because they're trying to catch him. The time.
Right. Because remember, Loki died, and that was supposed to happen. Remember, Owen Wilson told you, right? That was supposed to happen. You're supposed to die.
And right now, like one of the biggest selling comics apparently is Thor Annual 18, which was like a comic no one was checking for until this, because at the end of that comic, they show the female hooded Loki standing there with the hood, just like they did at the end of this episode. So yeah,
anybody have Thor Annual 18?
I don't think I even bought any Thor comics.
Yeah, I don't have any Thor. I might. Yeah, no, I have a couple of Thors, but I don't have that.
Yeah. And I wouldn't even thought that. Oh, let me see if there's one with Lady Loki. Like I wouldn't even thought to even buy it. But,
right. Yeah.
Really
that's the thing. No one cared about that back then. Like until this happened. But like you said, Tiger, they probably chose this specific storyline for reasons like that have to do with the transgender, the LBT, whatever.
Well, no, I don't think it's that far. I just think when they said Loki's gender fluid, they did that knowing they were bringing Lady Loki in as a business thing, not as to really appease.
Not to appease.
Yeah, just knowing that. Okay, this will, because that's the climate. So let's do it like a business thing. You know what I mean?
Right. Definitely. Yeah, I think so. I believe so. And this takes place directly after like Avengers 1, where the Loki, he lost the war with the Chitauri that he had with and Hulk just beat him up. Hulk just dipped him.
Yeah, that's right.
A few hours before all this.
So, that's right. This really happened after. Yeah, this ain't after Endgame. This is after.
Right.
He just saw they just showed him what your future was. By showing him everything else.
And I think this is definitely how they can explain the Hugh Jackman Wolverine and the new Wolverine that they'll have, and the new the mutants and all of that.
It's exactly how we're gonna explain it, because you got like the two movies coming up that's gonna dip into the multiverse is Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. So that's and this is only 6 episodes for this Loki.
Is it?
Yeah, it's only 6 episodes. Yeah.
Damn. Why they do these shows?
Man. All these shows are gonna be short.
WandaVision was 10, but Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Loki is only 6. I don't get it.
WandaVision was 10, but it was also 30-minute episodes. Right?
WandaVision?
Yeah.
You might be right.
Well, the finale wasn't, but for the most part, most of them were under 40. Yeah, they were 30. Yeah, right. Falcon, Winter Soldier were almost 50 minutes each.
They were there were hour episodes, and Loki's an hour episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plus, they probably need to add it on with the WandaVision one because it was a lot of things going on.
Right. Yeah, man. I thought it's gonna be a dope show. It'll also help with Spidey Homecoming, the continuity issue. It'll fix that.
And what's the issue with that? I saw someone say that it'll fix the continuity issue.
Well, I mean, they have it's mixed in with Civil War, and I don't know if the timeline didn't add up or something like that. I think is what it is.
Oh, you're saying that when Civil
The
War was going on,
other
Spider-Man
movies.
was in it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure, but I think that's what it's about. Yeah, I'm not sure though.
Which
They'll,
one?
they'll find a way to make it make sense.
Yeah, of course.
Metro customers got a question in the chat room, y'all.
Oh, and the other timeline is Captain America still young.
That's a really good question. Remember, he stayed.
Yeah.
He stayed in that timeline for a good minute before he came back.
And I think this show, I think it will touch on the whole Captain America timeline issue. I think it's gonna
when he went back to be with a Peggy, right?
Yeah, right. Because we saw Peggy Carter
What
in the background.
What was that about?
You saw her walk. Yeah, they was walking her in.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
who knows what, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so she walked. If they walked her in there, that means what? That
she's
she
a
did
variant.
something to
That
disrupt
was
the
a variant
timeline.
Peggy Carter. Yeah, she did something to mess up the timeline.
So they're gonna touch on something with that then.
Right, right.
Wow.
You know,
Did
maybe
y'all watch the show, the Peggy Carter show?
I
Yeah, I
did.
watched
Yeah, remember they had the thing with the was the second season. They were dealing with that. I don't know what that was. That black hole type thing they were dealing with.
the Dark Hole.
Yeah, the dark hole.
Yeah, same thing. That was in WandaVision. Same thing was in Agents of Shield.
Oh, the Dark Hold.
Yeah.
Not a hole. It's talking about the Dark Hold, the book, right?
Yeah.
Necronomicon type book.
Yeah, that book Wanda was
magic.
reading when she was floating.
Mm-hmm. But they said magic don't work in that realm, in that time realm.
Yeah, because and there's a rumor that the TVA, they're saying that might actually be existing in the quantum realm, because when they had a scene when Ant-Man went in there, it's like a still and it looks like a city, and they were saying that might be the TVA. Because remember when they were walking through the hallway and he was looking out the window?
Yeah,
they were saying they might be, because obviously nothing, time and space don't exist differently in the TVA,
right? And in the quantum realm, yeah. That's a good point.
So let me ask
you. It makes
this.
sense because Quantum Mania, Kang, all of that. It's like
all of that.
It's like everything's connected and starting.
Everything.
So let me ask y'all this. So when the snap happened, that means that they was watching it. They was just watching it.
Yeah, they had to know that was gonna happen. I guess the timekeepers.
Yeah,
but they also must know that it was gonna
happen.
They knew it was gonna fix itself, right? They were gonna fix it. Yeah. So according to this, the timekeepers have seen everything that's going on in the MCU, and everything so far has supposed to have happened, except for the stuff that hasn't been explained. And that's the stuff that they're gonna be explaining with this show. Like when I first, my son watched the show before I did. He came in, he was like, "This show just changed everything," and I'm like, "Don't tell me nothing." He's like,
right.
He said everything is different, everything is changed. He's like, "This means so much," and I was like, "Man, what's it gonna be?" But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it's cool, like that they have a sci-fi way to explain everything. You know what I mean? Like, I love it
because you gotta keep it fresh. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Can't be like, same movie, villain,
beat
the villain, wins. Like, nah, you gotta, like how the comics do. They change stuff up. They gotta do the same way with the movies. And to me, man, Marvels, they know how to do it, man. I think they know how to do it.
Yeah, Marvel, man. Like, it's crazy because that is cinema now. Like, superhero movies are the biggest thing and the best thing going on right now. Like, there's no other really great movies coming out. Like, those are the movies that everybody's checking for. Like, those are the big movies, and not just in a blockbuster way where they're just cheap blockbusters that everybody's like
Transformers and
extra action for no reason and shit. Like, nah, these have deep stories, like, because they come from comics. That's what I try to explain to people like that think comics are for kids or just shallow, you know what I mean? Like, nah,
like I don't know what to say.
Yeah, it's like, man, look, this is literature.
storytelling.
At its finest.
Still reading my joint, Swords.
Yeah, buddy.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I like that. That's dope, man.
I love that book too.
Bro,
Hard
the original
copy, yeah.
first 4 horsemen, his kids, bro.
Yep.
When that part
Man.
happened and they
Yo.
killed Apocalypse, I'm like, oh, this shit getting crazy. So I'm at
Tiger,
I'm
I
like a
got
little
that.
bit
I
after that,
got
man.
that issue tagged and slabbed.
Mhm.
Tiger.
Oh, that the first issue of that?
Stu said he got. Yeah.
The issue with Apocalypse, where they tell his story about his
Yeah.
kids
Oh, what-
dying and everything.
You got that one, Slab?
Yeah, I would
yeah.
show it to you, but I'm having camera issues right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
So you have to
X
leave it-
Swords
yeah, you
is-
got to leave it to your imaginations because
That's the coolest thing I think in X of Swords though is the whole apocalypse thing with the children and all of that. Like that's the whole other world, Krakoa. They just always doing good stuff.
Raccoon,
Man.
Krakoa, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, man. I'm
That's
looking
a good
forward to
segue though.
coming on Wednesdays. Dope. I like it. I like that they're showing them on Wednesdays.
What's that?
The Loki.
Oh, right. Yeah. Definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
so
it's like
Wednesdays, Loki's coming on
a
Wednesday.
big, yeah.
It
that's a
seemed like
big
it
thing.
comes quicker for some reason because it's in the middle of the
Right.
week.
In the
Even
middle
though
of the week.
you know when it's over, you gotta wait a whole week. But when the weekend comes,
Like the weekend comes, right, and then you fly through that, and then
Already,
boom, Wednesday. And that's a big day for comic fans, man. Wednesday, you know what I mean? That's new comic book
comics.
day.
Yep.
Sixth Element does a show called New Comic Book Day Indie Reviews. Like
Mhm.
it's just a great day. Wu-Tang Wednesday on Full Blast Radio.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Wednesday is not hump day anymore. Like Wednesday is the day to wait for.
Yep.
Wednesday is that day.
Wednesday's the new Friday.
Wednesday is the new Friday.
I used to have a job where I got paid on Wednesdays. I thought it was sweet like that.
Same type of thing.
Yep.
It's like getting paid on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Hey, have
Yeah.
y'all been watching? Because I don't think y'all talked about it. Bad Batch.
Yeah, I've been watching. Yeah, I have been watching it. Yeah,
I have not been on it yet.
yeah, I've
You,
been watching.
you watched it, Tiger?
I only watched maybe the first 3 episodes, and then I just not that I don't want to watch it. I guess it didn't grab me like I thought it would. You know
Right.
Because I haven't watched a lot of those animated joints.
Right.
I watched them sporadically, but I got more interest now that y'all told me that, they connected those with the movies. Like I was like, wait a minute, the animated is connected with the actual live action movies. So that piqued my interest even more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just haven't had to,
Yeah, I feel because I didn't watch it either. I didn't watch Clone Wars, the previous animated stuff.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I guess it didn't grab me either because like it was, I don't know. I didn't really not like them shows, the Clone Wars. Like I always knew they were on and I saw a couple of episodes, but I don't know. It just just wasn't for me, maybe not all the way. Like I know that there's dope stuff in them. They definitely had some good episodes. There's a few key episodes that I'll watch, but to sit through the whole show, I could never do it. But Stu, Bad Batch. I think it's a little bit better and different than the original Clone Wars series. What do you think?
I agree. It has the same format, art style, and all that, but it's just telling a different story. I like the pace of the story. I think it's way better than Clone Wars. Because Clone Wars would have an episode that was really good, and then it would be one that was just so melodramatic. You'd be like, dang, is it going to be any? I mean, they are in a war. Are we going to see any action or anything?
Yeah.
So it was always like that. Or they would have like 3 episodes where it'd be just like great, and then it'd be like 3 episodes where you be
just filler. It's a lot of filler. It's a lot of filler. I can't stand it. It's like, why go through all the time to make an episode?
Well, maybe it's like quantity over quality. Like they're putting out too much of it. Like
Yeah, and I think Bad Batch is a more condensed story. It's not like 6 seasons long, so they're gonna put a lot of good stuff in each episode.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's
It looks good. It look, like I said, it just
No, it is.
I haven't grabbed me like, oh man, I gotta watch it when it's coming on.
You know what, Tiger? What it does is, you know how we always see the effects of Order 66 from the Jedi side and the Republic side. We never saw what happened with the repercussions of Order 66 from somebody that was in the Empire.
The clone side, right?
The clone side. Like these guys, because remember, they replaced the clones with regular troopers. And they talk about why they did it. Why he wasn't a Moff then, or Tarkin did it. They never talked about why he went away from the clones and went to just recruiting regular people as troopers.
I always wondered that too. Why were the stormtroopers of the original movies not clones? And what's the difference? Why? Yeah, so I didn't know.
Talk about all that. Yeah, all of that is discussed and explored in this. So you got to watch.
That's why I do watch the Clone Wars episodes that I watch, and that's why I still plan to watch Bad Batch, is because they do have like great mythology, the lore, the whole story, like the stuff. What I love about Star Wars personally is the stuff between the movies, the books, the comics, the animated joints, the video games even that have story. Like, to me, that's the best stuff. It's the best stories, the coolest. And also maybe it's because it's the movie that makes me wonder, like when they mention certain things in the movie, they'll mention a war or the Kessel Run. Yeah, you don't
go into it because they go into the main part of the movie.
It would be a whole movie in itself. So it's like, and so they'll write a whole novel about one of those things. You know what I mean? So I think that's the coolest part to me, is when they explain all the little stuff that was mentioned in the movies.
Well, I know Book of Boba Fett is done. They're done.
Really?
Nice. Yeah, so I can't wait for that.
I can't wait for that either.
That's definitely must see.
Oh yeah.
You guys think we're gonna get anything from the Mandalorian? That might be why they were able to finish it up. Because
I think they are. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I think they got out of that all that craziness that was going on.
Yeah.
And, I've seen them showing signs of like being cordial to what's the name that they fired, you know what I mean?
Gina Carano.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's gonna come back. I heard George Lucas was supposed to be like taking back over creative control or some shit, like trying to get Kathleen the fuck out of there.
Yeah, I mean,
that's true.
I heard something about Dave Filoni being put in charge.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I heard they're trying to oust Kathleen Kennedy and bring in George Lucas and Dave Filoni, like because of the success of the Mandalorian. They're saying that they gotta go in a more Star Wars direction and less of a femme fatale direction.
The common sense direction.
Right.
We love our females, but Jesus, man,
what is that workout? This worked, this didn't.
Right.
And Star Wars has always had strong female characters.
Yeah.
Always.
But for some reason, Kathleen Kennedy doesn't think so. Because when you think about it, they've killed off just about every, like a lot of people were saying they don't want Lando in any of the next movies because they're like, yo, all you're gonna do is kill him. Like, all you're gonna do, like, he's just gonna kill Lando.
I'm surprised the only black dude in Star Wars next to Finn, and he didn't die and shit.
In the whole galaxy. He's the only black dude in the whole galaxy.
Word. Billy did like, you ain't killing me.
Word.
You're not with it. 45.
Well, 45. But man, and that was another thing what they did with Finn. They used Finn as a poster.
Yeah,
a poster child, poster boy, whatever, and then just phased this character out.
Yeah,
like
Finn,
they acted
Finn
like he was gonna be the whole
Finn.
thing. Yeah, they always shitting on Finn.
You think so? You think Finn was always?
Yeah. Well, look, they started it out like the first movie, the trailers, all of that was making you feel like this character was gonna be the main focus.
Yeah.
And then when he got the lightsaber, you was like, oh, is he a Jedi? What? Like, whoa, like
they just completely turned it away from him.
And then it just phased him out. To then the last movie,
That's
all
why
he
he
did
got
was
beef
like
with them.
scream Rey's name. That was it. His whole thing. Like he was in the movie like none, and
that's why he got beef with
He got beef with them. Yeah, exactly.
He don't mess with them anymore.
They turned him into a sidekick. Yeah, Metro customer. Exactly. And that's not what they promoted it as.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say, you know, that's like they're using that to get certain view or, you know, certain, you know, fans or whatever.
Yeah, trying to show like some diversity bullshit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and then you see that it's fake and it's all about their womanhood, their woke woman stuff, the Kathleen Kennedy stuff. You know, and
I think that's lame. I think that's real lame.
Super lame.
Yeah.
That's why those movies are straight trash.
Garbage, man. That's why it's all about the shows, you know, Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, even Bad Batch, man. Like I'm definitely gonna watch it now that you said that too, because it is a lot of stuff that I want to know about from the movies that Bad Batch talks about. You know what I mean? The whole thing, Order 66, all of that.
Yeah. Yo, when that movie was named The Rise of Skywalker, in my head, I was like, oh shoot, so Luke's coming back?
Everybody thought that.
Except it's this chick. Like, really? I'm sitting here watching this like, what is this bullshit?
What even you know, and then she's a Palpatine.
Yeah.
But then
then they bring him back.
Say I'm a Skywalker. Right. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I loved the Emperor, like the way they make him look and everything. I think they did a great job. He looked raw, like he looked scary, he looked powerful, like he looked like a Sith Lord, a real Sith Lord. Had the burgundy hood, ugly as hell too, fingers all gnarled, and you know, it was dope how when he remember how Luke or Yoda rather lifted the X-wing out of the swamp.
Yeah.
When they showed Palpatine lift all those Star Destroyers up out of the sand like that, I lost my mind, bro. That was one of the illest scenes to me. But other than that, the movie itself was garbage. Like the whole, like in the beginning, you had Kylo with the Sith Wayfinder, they called it. Everybody know that's from the games. It's a holocron, not from the games, from the books. That's a Sith holocron. So as soon as I seen it, I was like, oh, holocron. And he's like, this is the Wayfinder. And then he goes to planet Exegol, which is supposed to be the Sith world. That's not the Sith world. You know what I mean? Like that. So it's a whole lot of garbage, man, that they need to fix. They need to start getting more towards the books and the legends and stuff that Kathleen Kennedy came in and said was all not canon no more. Remember? That was the first thing she did.
Yeah, she cut that off real quick. Like
that was the first thing she did.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, that's where all the, you know, that's George Lucas approves all of that stuff. You know what I mean?
That's true. Well, you know what? Here's some strange DC news for y'all, man. DC is having a problem with Batman being married to Catwoman. The Harley Quinn creators, which we've had on the show, that redid Harley Quinn, they say that DC won't let Batman go down on Catwoman.
You talking about Jimmy Palmiotti?
Yeah, him and a few other people are saying that, you know,
for the
when
movie?
Try to,
for
the comics, like when they try to do, like, you know how they'll do like a scene where they're laying in the bed or you see them having sex, they won't let Batman go down on Catwoman. So you can't draw a scene where Batman goes down on Catwoman.
Why? I mean, why is that a thing?
Yeah, I mean, why do you want to do that? Like,
why do we want to see that?
Well, some artists are into that, man. You know, they want to make it as real as possible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they want to. You know,
I can see that in an indie comic. I could definitely see that in an indie comic, of course. Like, yeah, you're gonna see a lot of that in indie comics and stuff, but DC ain't doing that.
No, DC
I would.
Yeah. I'm shocked that they let that happen. I thought you just meant like they didn't want them to be married for some weird reason.
Yeah, no,
they cool with the marriage. They just, you know, I guess some of the artists are trying to take it to another level with the comic.
Yeah, dudes in the bathroom with the comic book and shit.
Yes,
like,
sir. Somebody
like, I see these fucking album cover.
Yes, sir. Like, damn, what's going down?
yeah, Batman and Catwoman is a whole comic book now. It's a whole. They got a whole series that's dope.
I like that artwork. That's dope.
Yeah, man. That's that's Clay Man that does that. But what's dope is that Tom King is doing Batman and Catwoman. See, I wasn't personally, I wasn't really buying Batman and Catwoman yet. I wasn't into it at first because I thought it was just going to be mostly, you know, just like a love story, kind of boring kind of thing. But you know, it's Tom King, and Tom King is the guy that killed Alfred, that did City of Bane, that is doing the current, you know, the current Batman run that's going on right now in the comics. Tom King was doing that at first. Like, he's the one that made that popular, but I guess he left that to do Batman and Catwoman. So I'm definitely got that in my pull list now that I found that out. Okay. But yeah, Tom King is dope. Tom King is super dope.
And other DC news, Gal Gadot's Diana Prince could be replaced by the Brazilian Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah.
Why is that?
Brazilian Wonder Woman was a hit right now.
No. I mean, is there an issue with Gal Gadot, or
there have been in the past? Yeah, like with this Snyder cut. You know how all the actors were kind of like voicing their opinion about that last movie and kept saying, "Put out the Snyder cut, put out the Snyder cut." Right. Wonder Woman 85 didn't do too well.
Oh, that was horrible.
Right. So I think they're thinking maybe if we, you know, reboot it or we go in another direction with Wonder Woman, we can introduce the Brazilian version, and then that way we can cast somebody else, and we don't have to cast anybody else's Wonder Woman.
I like to be on the committee to choose a Brazilian model. Go there and
right.
You know, just
actors for that. You know,
just choose. Yeah, just visual.
You know, be on deck. Yo, man, shout out real quick to my man Chronic Schizo from Mad Men of Comics. Just send me my new Scotties. Look at them too.
Cable,
Cable, my favorite dude. And X-Men Red.
Yeah, that's Scotty. Those Scotty Young variants is dope. I like that.
Yeah, man. And I love these with the black background. Like, that's my favorite kind of covers, where the background's just a solid blank color.
Yeah, me too.
And there's a main picture, you know, in the front.
It ain't like too busy.
Right. That busy stuff, it looks like a page, you know, out of the comics. I don't like that.
Right.
Like they're cool. That's like you know, extra swords. But if they had like a big, like a one face of Apocalypse or something.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Right. Yeah, I'd pull out a bunch of things right now, but I ain't gonna do all that. But yeah,
what's that Wolverine one? I know you got Arena where he's got the claws and you see the image like in the claws or whoever he's about to cut.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, like that one's dope too. I like that one.
Yeah, that is dope.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Well, the problem with you know, going back to Wonder Woman is that Gal Gadot is 36 years old. Believe it or not, she's 36, and supposedly they're supposed to be doing another Wonder Woman, and she's saying that after this one, this is it for her. This is her last Wonder Woman movie. So I think what they're gonna try to do with this Flash movie, like Marvel's doing with this multiverse thing, they're gonna do the DC multiverse thing and introduce
the other one.
So then you get sense. Right, you get a younger one and you get what you got.
They finally doing something that makes sense. That's what's up.
Yeah. Right.
They went and bought the gray album instead of the black album, so they making sense.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Because you know the gray album makes way more sense than the black. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I know a lot of people agree with me, but I'm not going. You know, we're not going to go there today. You know, but you can comment in the chat and just put a thumbs up. That's good enough. We don't have to go there, but you know.
Angelo Bolano said the Brazilian Wonder Woman is prettier, and Brazil loves comics heavy. I didn't know that they were big in Brazil, but yeah, you know, it makes more sense too because she's supposed to be from the Amazon, right?
Amazon,
yeah. But like I said, Gal Gadot is getting older. She's 36 now, man. I mean, and then you remember they had to postpone one of the movies because she had a baby. Remember, she got pregnant.
Oh yeah.
And then she had a baby. Then she got to get back in shape, you know. For matter of fact, that's bringing that up. Drax the Destroyer is the wrestler.
Batista.
Batista saying he's going to be done with that soon because he said, "Look, he said, I'm shirtless the whole time.
I'm getting older.
Yeah, I'm getting older. You know, he's like, he said, stuff is dropping now."
And he's just in something too. Man, what's
the zombie movie?
Zombie movie.
Yeah, the zombie movie, but he's in a show, man. I can't, man. It was.
Oh, it's something else.
I can't think of it, man. Now, yeah, it was like at the very end, it revealed to be him. He was the man. What was that? If anybody in chat know what I'm talking about, at the very end of the show, he like takes off his hood and it's him. I can't even remember what it is now. But speaking of Four Horsemen and the Apocalypse, X of Swords book, Stu, you wanted to talk about the Four Horsemen hip hop group.
Oh, definitely. I mean, listen, we talk about comics and hip hop.
My mixtape, The Four Horsemen. You talking about?
No.
Same with promotion.
Yeah. No, I got that. That's dope. You know, the first rap supergroup is Ras Kass, Cannabis.
Oh yeah.
Killer Priest, and
Corrupt.
They are the original rap supergroup.
Four Horsemen.
Yeah, the Four Horsemen. They were supposed to put out an album, but somebody that was a friend of theirs, or somebody worked on the album, but had inside, access, leaked the first album, so it never got released. And once it got leaked back then, those were the glory days of bootlegging.
Yeah, he wasn't making no money once.
Right, so they had to just let the project go. So anybody that has that album, that's what they have. They have the album, but it's actually a straight bootleg, and they never put it out. So now Corrupt said that he was, talking to Killer Priest and the rest. Like, look, man, we got to do one. So they're doing an album now called The Four Horsemen: The Last Ride.
So are these new songs? The video that's on YouTube right now, is this a new track?
Yes,
the new album.
That's all from the new album. Corrupt put it up on his Bandcamp. Of course, I'm always on Bandcamp because I'm on DJ Tiger's Bandcamp quite frequently. So when I was on there, I just checked, the other artists. I came across it, and then I went on YouTube and listened to a couple of songs that Corrupt released on YouTube. They actually did a video for the Horsemen. They did a video for that, and they did a video for another song. I'll get the name for you right now. But
yeah, man, that's what you do, man. Just put it out on your own streaming service, man. It's gonna make money. They should even put one out that was bootleg years ago. Just throw that up.
I agree.
I'd buy it.
I would too. Yeah. The first one I heard was called Horseman, and then another one is called there were two of them on there.
Straight rapping.
Yeah. I mean, the one I sent Reno one, and I was like, Reno, you gotta check this out. Like, I was like, yo, this is
the video one where they got it's like a video of like animated video kind of.
Yeah. I was like, you gotta check this out.
That's hard.
Yeah, it is. It is straight hard. Like,
that is dope.
I was like, man, this is crazy. But I always was a fan of the Four Horsemen.
Metro customer said he went to school with Corrupt.
Really?
Yeah.
Then Metro, he wasn't the one that leaked the album, was he? Just messing with you, Metro customer, man.
And that Sky Zoo album, I copped that too. That shit is dope.
Oh, you did? Sky Zoo's always been dope, man. Mm-hmm. Sky Zoo's always been dope, man.
Been dope.
Yeah, always, man.
I'm gonna be playing some songs off of that tonight on Monday Night Mixtape, and Shaban Sadiq just sent me a new joint, and I'm gonna play that tonight also too.
Okay. Dope. Yeah, Apocalypse Now. You got Apocalypse Now. That's on YouTube by the Horsemen. You got just the Horsemen, Believer, False Prophets, and another one called Believer. Those are the 3-4 tracks that's on YouTube right now. You can go in there and listen to them. They're dope. I mean, I can't wait. The album was supposed to drop earlier this month, I think on the 11th or something like that, but it never dropped. So maybe they're waiting to drop it, or they're doing more songs. I'm with Tiger. Hopefully they put out that first one with it. Mm-hmm. First Horseman project with it. I heard it, but I never, I was never able to get it, but I did hear it. It was dope. You know.
Also, I got a new joint from Samsung called Entertainment Tonight, bro. Y'all hear when I play it later tonight. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
man. It's I love to hear, when real hip hop is coming, is coming back out to the forefront, man.
We're the ones, we got to put it out to the forefront,
That's the thing, we gotta. That's right. It's got to be people with platforms that
we got to
talk about it, put it out, right? And DJ Tiger is a big, force in that battle. Y'all check him out on Full Blast Radio, always bringing the real hip hop to the light.
I don't know.
And what was that?
Live.
How did you get the invite to the Zoom thing with Speech?
Oh, well, my man Rollo, which he's gonna be starting a show hopefully next Tuesday, and it's gonna be a show geared towards that because he's involved in the Clear the Airwaves project. He's actually involved with the guy with the braids that he was talking about, the radio station that said they ain't from Chicago, but they said they're in Chicago and they were playing all the drill music,
right?
People murdered.
Yeah,
he's connected with him that's involved in that project. So he's the one that sent me the link.
Nice.
So he sent me a text. He was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Yo, send the link. People can watch." I was like, "Oh shoot!" So that's why I dropped it.
Yeah.
Chat. So I gotta. Matter of fact, I gotta hit him to see if I can repost it because he said I'm sure it'd be no problem. I can repost it on the channel so that everyone can see it. So real dope, man. Talking about the detriment. Like we have our artists that hardcore, NWA, MOP, whatever this and that, but it wasn't to the point where it was like going to murder specific people.
Right.
And it wasn't every day, 24 hours. 11 and 10-year-olds are listening to it on the radio. They didn't play our music like that on the radio. That's the big difference too.
Yeah.
They're playing this music 24/7 on the radio, and little kids are hearing it and they're thinking they gotta kill someone to be known.
Yeah.
Pissing on people's graves to be known. Just
right. Like
demon, devil, disrespectful stuff that the airwaves is pushing, that these corporations pushing, and they don't care. Their kids ain't the ones getting murdered.
Right. Well, that's like what? That's like the hoodwink joint Reno sent me. It's the same. It's just talking about the same thing, but it's true. I mean, as much as I hate to say it, it's true because when you look at it now, with rap, especially with rap music, the first thing you see, all these guys that make these YouTube videos, they got guns and money, and that's all with no shirts on, and that's what they're doing. They're all doing it, and that makes the generation watching them. See, people are influenced by what they see, and so they see it, and they're saying, "Oh man, if I get a gun and some money, man, I'd be just like them." Or those are their idols right now, and the parents are giving kids, tablets, and they're watching that, and they're letting them go on YouTube instead of making accounts for their kids on. And putting the age limit on there where they can't watch that.
They're not watching it. They're not watching them.
They're not. They have no idea all the nastiness that these kids are seeing all the time, man. Just
and at that age, that's all you're doing is soaking up information.
Exactly, and then all they're soaking up, and what I think they were really talking about, what Speech from Arrested Development made this documentary that we was talking about earlier. That's really talking about how the media is pushing this sort of image, but it's something that they've been doing since like Thomas Jefferson, like back in the day, like slavery times and all of that, like Abe Lincoln, all of that. They've been pushing this agenda to kind of inferiorize or marginal, like they feel, like their whole justification with slavery was because they were trying to say that black people were inferior. And if they can make everybody believe that black people are inferior, they can justify things like slavery or Jim Crow or the police brutality that we're seeing now.
Well, that goes back to the Jim Crow letters.
It's normalized.
Yeah. If you ever read the Jim Crow, when I was a 5%er,
Yeah,
That's
I
one
read
of the first things I read. I read the Jim
they
Crow.
had, we all,
And that's what it says that. It says that the best way, and it wasn't really talking, it was talking about any race, but he was pertaining it to the African.
the
At
Willie
the time,
Lynch, the Willie Lynch
letters, yeah, the really Lynch
yeah,
letters.
the Willie
It was
Lynch
it was about any race, but it was at the time he brought it to America. It was like, look, this is what you need to do if you want to keep them enslaved. And one of the first things he said is, if you put the fear in their women, you have to put the fear in their women. That's the first thing you do. She's gonna pass that down to the child from the womb. You know what I mean? And remember, KRS talked about that when he was talking about beef. So he was like, the cow doesn't grow fast enough for man. Fear, the cow has fear already in his bones, already in his soul. When they kill it, it's scared. And then you eat that. So you eating that same fear. You eating that same thing as the cow.
putting that in your body.
Right. So he goes on to explain how, when you do that, then you can conquer the man. Once you conquer the female, then you can conquer the man. And if you can't conquer the man and the female from that same generation, you will definitely conquer the ones from the next one, because you already instilled the fear in the woman. The woman is the key. And they were saying, once you do that, you get them to believe, they teach that to their children. And then all you have to do is maintain it after that. And that's in a nutshell, just a short version of it. But if you read it, it's deep, goes deep. And it's been,
and you see how they do they hypersexualize the black woman in media.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all part of that.
They talk about it. And it's been, and it's not just been African Americans that have talked about, the Willie Lynch letters. And it's been scholars from all different walks and avenues that have talked about it and be like, listen, like this really happened.
And this is
the guideline that they really followed.
Yeah.
And it was successful for years. And so,
and some say it's still the reason that things are the way they are. That
right.
That's a fact.
Yeah. Malcolm X gave speeches about it back in the 60s. They're very compelling, very informative. There was one speech he gave. If you look it up on YouTube, anybody in the chat or anything, Malcolm X gave a speech on liberals and what do you call, what's the other ones?
Conservatives and
liberals. And now you talk about 1960 something. He's talking about this, and he said, it's not a black or white thing or anything. He said the only thing they're concerned about is power and pushing their agenda. He said soon they're going to erase Democrats and Republicans, and all you're going to hear is conservative and liberal and conservative. And he said the only thing they want to do is push their agenda. So he was telling everybody back then, don't fall for the conservative and liberal thing. Stay Democrat or Republican. Like, that's what you need to stay. That should be your main concern, because liberals have their own agenda and so do conservatives. So, and they're pushing that agenda because all they want is power. He was right. And when you look at it, that's what you see right now. And what's the first thing a politician says? Well, I'm more liberal, or I'm more conservative on that, or I'm more liberal. How could you be when you're talking about human rights? When people don't have food in their cabinets, those are politics. When we don't have jobs, that's politics. And that's a direct result of the political structure that we live in, as a result of what we voted in. So for all you people out there listening, don't worry about the president. He's actually the weakest figure in the government. Your local officials are the ones that you need to worry about. So your senators, your governors, and your congressmen. You go out and vote for them. Now you got power. But as long as
the ones you want in there, right? But everyone, but that's another part of the indoctrination, the brainwashing. They make everyone think that this president, this thing that's who everyone should vote for. That's the big important thing. That's the one that matters. And it's almost like it's a character. Like the president is like a character, and he's a front man for the government. It's not the government.
No,
it's not a king. He's not. You know what I mean? He has no.
Right. He's the one that's supposed to bring the two parties together. That is his job, to have the two parties agree on something. That's what
they always. Right, but
they always got each other.
President is either a Republican or a Democrat president.
Right. Once he becomes president, he's neither. He's no longer Republican or Democrat. He's supposed to always stay in the middle. and bring them together somehow.
Never
Like
happens.
when Trump was in there, remember Nancy Pelosi told him, like, look, like I'm just as equal branch of government as you are. You might be the president, but you are not above me. And he didn't like that. He was like, what are you talking about? She was like, no, I'm just as powerful as you are.
What'd you say, Tiger?
No, I said supposedly supposed to be in the middle.
Yeah, right.
Right. Well, that all depends on who.
Oh, that's why he said there was fine people on both sides when those racists killed that person in Charlottesville.
Yeah,
he said there's fine people on both sides. So I guess he's trying to be
conservative,
trying to be
conservative and liberal at the same time.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, in it,
whole system's a joke. Bro.
Yeah, and this whole system that is, you know, that's got hip hop, you know, perpetuating such a negative, you know, stereotype, negative image, dates back to politicians, to the original politicians, back to the Thomas Jeffersons and like the old forefathers and all of that. Like Jefferson had 175 slaves.
Yeah.
But when he wrote the Declaration of Independence and all men are created equal, he didn't mean all men.
You know what? In his defense, I did a lot of research on that when I was in college, and I'm not saying he's a good. I'm not judging anybody. That's not my job.
Well, he didn't believe blacks, like he didn't believe in slavery per se, but he believed that blacks were,
a lot of them
should not be together with whites.
But here's where it gets crazy. When they wrote the Declaration of Independence, a lot of people don't understand. Well, they don't know that they were trying to push an agenda. So they needed the so-called American people at the time, before it became America, to believe in what they were trying to establish. So the issue of slavery came up when they were writing it, and they just threw it off the table because they knew if they said, we got to deal with this issue now, they would have never won the people over to go with, and England would have won. So they knew that. So that's why they did what they did. They didn't even talk about it. And then for years, they were supposed to deal with it, and they didn't until Lincoln came along, and Lincoln saw that it was dividing the country. And he was like, look, I got to do something about this. So now the Civil War is born after the Emancipation Proclamation, which should have been written and dealt with right after the Civil War. I mean, not the Civil War, the Revolutionary War. It literally should have been dealt with maybe a year or two after, but they let it go. For what, 16 presidents? They just like, look, we'll deal with it, because they believed in slavery. But then you had ones that was like, look, that's only going to divide the country even more, make it weak, and it did, until they had another war.
Lincoln, you know, everyone credits him with you know, abolishing slavery, but and that he's like this great dude. But if you look at my man's speech in his documentary, shows that in the Lincoln and Douglas debates, Lincoln said, I am not in favor of making voters or jurors out of Negroes.
Which he wasn't.
But right.
that wasn't the issue.
They had no intention of ever including black people in the same world.
No. Well, this is what he wanted. He wanted to abolish slavery because he knew if he didn't, the country was doomed. So he had to get rid of that. But now you have social presence after that. I remember once the Civil War was over, you had over 1 million people, African Americans. You're like, all right, what do we do with this? That upped the population. So if the population in the U.S. of legal citizens was, let's say, 2 million, now you got another 1 million people that you got to provide. You got jobs, food, shelter. Like, you're like, wait a minute. Now we got 1 million more. So the population from America in 4 years went from 2 million to like 4 million. Blink of an eye. Like, so you're like, wait a minute, we got 4 million people now. What are we gonna do with these people? Wait. But since they were African American and they were considered less than people, that's when you had Jim Crow and all of that came after that, because they're like, well, they are a part of the population, but not exactly. And that's what we got with that. They never. It was always a thing that they talked about, but they never addressed. The American government never addressed it. They talk about, and they still do it now. They talk about it, they think about it, but they never directly address it. Period. Like, and they never died. They never just address it.
Like, and even in the 13th, even in the amendment that abolishes slavery, it says that a slave is no longer that slaves are still slaves when they're incarcerated. If they get incarcerated, right? If they go to prison, they don't lose, like they're still slaves.
Yeah.
I forget the exact wording, but yeah, it basically it only so that's when you started to see like the super overpopulations of prisons and you know, crime, you know, justice system rather, you know, just ridiculously sentencing black people and filling the prisons with black people. It was a way for them to keep slavery.
Right. Because if you read the freedom papers of some of the slaves I went to, when I went to the African American Museum in DC, I was reading one of the documents and it said that, let's say if I was a slave and I got freed, it said if I stayed in the state that I was freed in for more than, I'll say 90 days, I was able to become a slave again. You know what I mean? Now this was like right before the Civil War, and then after the Civil War. So let's just say if you won before the Civil War, if you won your freedom, you know, the master owner dies, and in his will he says, "Well, just set all my slaves free." So they would set us free, and we'd be running around dancing and singing like, "Oh, we free, we free." But after 90 days, we go back to being slaves again if we don't leave that state. So if I was in the state of Georgia, I had to literally leave the state of Georgia in order to keep my freedom and couldn't come back. So you couldn't come back to Georgia where all your family was.
It was a
people,
law.
Right, it was a law. After the Civil War, they wrote, look, we still need labor. So this is what I was talking about before. You needed labor to build these infrastructures. So then that's where came the chain gangs and stuff like that. They were like, well, listen, lock them up and we put them back to work. That's it. And that's where that came from. So that's why they started overcrowding prisons, because they were like, we need a workforce. So it became a legal way of making slaves.
Right. And to this day, you know, they pay you what, like 5 cents an hour or something crazy.
Something like $1.85.
Just to say it's not slavery.
Right. Right.
You know, and I don't know, you know, working in the prison system, you have a unique perspective.
Yeah, you see it all. You see it all, basically. You know, but don't go to prison. That's all I can tell you. A lot of other things you could do.
It was like the guy, I forget who he was. He was talking about how he was talking to some young rapper, or maybe, you know, just a kid that was inspiring to be a rapper, and he asked him, you know, why is he talking about, you know, prison so much? Have you been to prison? And the kid says, not yet. Like, that's a goal I plan to attain one day, but I haven't yet.
Wow. Yeah. Well, like I said before, Johnny Cash was the first rapper. You know what I mean? He been to prison, he shot more people.
And didn't do none of it.
Didn't do none of it. I tell everybody, be like Cooks. You know what I mean? Be like Cooks, man. Be like Cooks. Good, clean, and wholesome. Good, clean, and wholesome.
But yeah, man, everybody go
I have my dirty days.
Yeah, we all did. Yeah. Well, not all of us, but some of us.
Not Cooks. Everybody but Cooks.
That's what it is.
Cooks is like Obama. He can't have no dirty days.
No, don't
Queen City. Salute Queen City in the building.
Queen City, what's up?
Salute.
Hey, you know, last week when I was on the road, you know, we never talked about the Hulk. I mean, Maestro had it out with Dr. Doom finally. You know, because they're continuing the Maestro series and Maestro Pax. And
Pax, War and Pax. I haven't read it. I have it.
Dude, it was great. Dude, it was listen, get that issue. It's iconic issue.
No, I have it. I have the whole little series.
Yeah, it's iconic, man.
Yeah, it's still running.
It's still running. Yeah. Yeah, they're gonna go into I forget the new series they're gonna go into after this for it, because they're trying to tell the whole story. Remember, we always asked what was the history behind Maestro. Remember, we always asking that. You guys like, yo, I was like, I don't know. All I know is he beat up everybody.
Right.
In the Marvel universe, he beat everybody. Right. They're divulging into that. And Dr. Doom is one of the players, is one of the major players he would have had to beat you know, in order to get his world dominance. So it was dope. It was a dope issue, man. It was full of action. It was iconic. I mean, I loved it, man. I was like, man, this is great. You know,
Definitely.
So if you don't have it, get it. I think it's number 6, and that is the Cook's Pick of the Week.
That's what's
Write it
up.
down.
All right, y'all. Well, this was another great episode of Sixth Element of Hip Hop. We I know DJ Tiger got to do his show. That's coming up at what, 8, right?
Yeah, 8:30.
8:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to when y'all get off, I gotta holler at you and Stu real quick.
Yeah, sounds good.
When
All right, y'all. So yeah, man, salute to the tribe. Thank everybody for coming in. You know, Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, we'll be back with the new Comic Book Day Indie Review Show, and of course, we'll see you next Monday.
And don't forget about Woo Wednesday. Don't forget.
Oh yeah, 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days Wednesday.
Wednesday.
And I'll see y'all tonight, 8:30, Monday Night Mixtape.
Definitely.
Yeah. And don't forget,
and watch.
Don't forget later on tonight, Lo-Fi Beats on Full Blast.
Oh, yeah. Maybe.
I need those. I get to sleep with those.
I go to sleep with those.
Yeah,
I enjoy the Lo-Fi.
Yeah, I go to sleep with the Lo-Fi Beats.
No doubt. Yeah.
Definitely.
Now, I'll set it up. Definitely.
We appreciate you, sir. We appreciate you.
Salute everybody.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Yeah, I have no camera.